Well, thanks for joining us for Foundational Anchor number 4 today. And, my idea behind Simple Hoops was this. If you want to teach and win games at a high level, create clarity in your program. Clarity amongst your coaches, clarity between coach and player. If you want to struggle and have a lot of sleepless nights and not win many games, then create confusion and lack of clarity because players do not execute when they're confused. They don't do a lot of anything. So my goal here is to teach you how to teach the game with clarity. Be really sharp about what it is that you're teaching and why you're teaching it. And you will help out players tremendously, and they will go to the wall for you, and they will execute like crazy, and that's what we all want. All right, number 4 goes like this. Be a sponge. Be flexible, and be a lifelong learner. All right, what's being a sponge all about? I was a young assistant for a coach in eastern Iowa when I was doing my 5 years of high school coaching before I jumped into the college ranks. And he told me that a good assistant always has a pen. And I didn't really know why, but I started to carry a pen. Well, I learned that, and I really thought that he thought I needed a pen because he never carried one, but that wasn't really it. He was teaching me that we are every day writing down observations and things we hear, things we think, creative ideas, constantly. And we must write them down. If we don't, and 80% of what we learn in a 24-hour period dissipates, just goes away in thin air. We're left with nothing unless we document and write things down. That's what being a sponge is. It's not remembering everything. It's having a record of what you saw, something that you want to remember that can help you, help your team, help someone in your family be a little bit better, because that's what we're trying to do by being a sponge. Songwriters in music, they say a lot of times that lyrics come from dreams. They'll have a dream, and as soon as they wake up, they have paper and a pen, because a good musician always has a pen. They'll have it right by their bed so they can just reach over when they wake up and write it down. I have heard that over and over and over, so there's got to be something to it. We're no different as coaches. Okay, next. What is being flexible all about? Well, good coaches in games, because every game is like a snowflake. They're all different. They're different in some way. And so good coaches adjust, right? We have to. We get a player in foul trouble, or they have a player in foul trouble. We're not shooting it from 3, so we have to find other ways to score. We realize that the other team's getting to the free throw line too much, and so we have to really adjust and do something different defensively. That's what we do in-game. So we've got to take our entire thought process as a coach, which is 24 hours a day, 12 months a year. And we have to be flexible. Nobody ever said that when you learn how you want to play, and I just covered my top 3, right, in the third part of this. Hey, the top 3 can change. If you evolve as a coach, your top 3 changes. And we do evolve as coaches. You must remain flexible. Coaches that say, well, we're not going to do anything different. We're just going to do what we've done in the past. And if you've won 8 straight state championships, I think I'd do the same thing too. But not many have done that. There is always something we can get better at. There's always something a player can improve upon. There's always a creative, thoughtful time that you need to take to think about how your team can execute better, therefore win more games. Don't be one that gets stuck in the mud and is always just leaning on what they know. Hey, what you know today is great, but you better know more tomorrow. And the next day, you better know more. And in a year from now, think how much more you'll know. And in that, you're going to be able to morph what it is that you do and make just the small, smart, creative changes. So be flexible and adjust. Lastly, be a lifelong learner. Be one that realizes that every day is an opportunity to learn more about ourselves, learn more about your spouse, learn more about your family, your children, your friends, your profession, your hobbies, others' opinions. It's crazy how many days I just live through and don't really have moments where I'm learning. And I have to constantly be, aware of that. Well, it helps if you have a pen in your pocket, because I can't remember very much the next day. So how do you go about it? I'll tell you, if there's one thing in the reading and the research that I do, if there's one thing I know for sure that highly performing people in any profession, including coaching, do, it's read. CEOs, presidents of companies, all kinds of highly functioning, successful people, they almost always will say, well, what's your key? And they say, I read a lot. It really helps sharpen the edge. And, somebody told me a couple years ago that instead of looking at a book like, oh, I've got to read a book, or, hey, it's on the bestseller list, go get this book, read this book, it's really good. All right? Well, it's kind of like writing a term paper when you were in high school. All right? If you were one that procrastinated, it's because you were thinking about the entire term paper, the 10 pages you were going to have typewritten and done and researched. Don't look at a book like that. Look at a book like this. If I read 20 pages, in 10 days I can read a 200-page book. Most books are around 200 pages, give or take, right? In 10 days, that means in 30 days, you can read 3 books, 20 pages a day, 200 pages each. You're going to be able to read 3 books. Now think about that. Okay, just think about how fast this current month went. And it happens to be at the time of taping here, it happens to be late May. Think how fast May has gone. And if you think, hey, can you read 3 books this May? Be like, no way. No way. I'm not a reader. People say that. What they should say is, I don't want to sharpen my blade. They should say, I don't want to learn anymore. They should say, I just want to, everything I know right now is all I need for the rest of my life. Highly successful people will tell you different. They'll say, read 20 pages a day, and you will fall in love with reading. So reading is a huge element of someone who is really staying on top of things. And you can do that. And it can be reading, it can be an audio book in your car, it can be all sorts of things. Listen, there hasn't been a time in mankind when learning had so many opportunities linked to it. Are you kidding me? Just Google and YouTube right there. How about that? And every other possible way to learn. This is the greatest time ever to learn. Be a lifelong learner. So, This is some things for your life. This is some things for coaching. So, number one, again, be a sponge. Soak it in every day. Number two, be flexible and adjust, because the world adjusts and players adjust and the way we want to play adjusts. And lastly, every day, go for it and learn all you can. Thanks a bunch for being here. If you haven't subscribed yet, and a lot of people are, we've really been excited about the kind of following that we're getting with Simple Hoops, and we've just started a week ago. But it's been great how many people have subscribed. If you haven't, please do that and like this video. And we'll see you for number 5 tomorrow. Thanks.